Hey guys, what's up? It's Nav here. I got a pretty cool deck profile with Bulma here. It was featured on my channel a while ago and I never really had the chance to make a video. I did update the deck a bit compared to the last video, but it's not that much of a big change, just about like 1 to 3 card change. And I just figured to show the deck. I know a lot of people have been playing Bulma. There's very different versions of it. And this is just a little fun deck that I figured people might want to play. A little bit pricey, but I think it's quite affordable at the same time. Though these cards are pretty easy to get, and it's really fun. And if you guys don't know what Bulma does, she gives all red and yellow Sane and Earthling cards blocker, which is really amazing. There's a reason why she's very weak. She only has 5k on the front side and 10k on the other side. But basically, she has an active main where you draw a card once per turn, so she doesn't need to attack a leader or attack anything to gain the draw power. And then she has an awaken that if your life is at 4 or less, you can just untap 2 energy and awaken her. So basically, this is her awaken side over here. She has the same permanent, saying Earthlings that are red or yellow gain blocker. And then she has an active main where she draws 2 cards instead of 1. So you're going to be plussing a lot. And with this deck, you really draw immensely. You get a lot of draw power in this deck, and I really love it a lot. And it's really great. I've been playing her since she came out on the low. And as the meta evolves, so does she. So we'll just start off with the deck real quick. Move this out the way. So for starters, we play for my King Piccolo's underling. She's pretty cool. She has barrier. She came out from the new draft box 6, and she has an auto where she draws a card when she's played, and then she has an auto that's once per turn that when the opponent switches their energy to active mode using a counter skill, you're going to place 1 card in their life and 1 card in their energy into the drop area. So she really punishes blue decks, which is really the main thing, the main cards that really do those kind of effects. So she really does punish blue decks. She or punish even Invoker when Invoker uses like Sensu Bean, or they use I think they use like a red green 2-drop extra card that like bounces a card or something. So it really punishes decks like that really enjoy untapping energy with counter skills. So yeah, she's amazing. So this is one of your turn 1 plays you're gonna do. She play her draw. She has barriers, so she can't get. It's really hard to get rid of her, and being a barrier blocker is really powerful for the deck. Play 4 Sane Kabas. It's kind of self-explanatory. It's a little double strike, self-awakener. When you need to get your life at a certain amount, you're really gonna want to play this. And he's really cool. Attack, take a life, 10k, double strike, so it's 15k. I kind of saved this. This is also like a Unison killer too. This card can kill Unisons on the early turns when they come out. And for my other 1-drop, I play Heroic Duo Videl. She's just a counter negate. Whenever they attack, you just play her negate, and then she becomes a blocker. So on 1 turn, she can stop 2 attacks, which is pretty cool. For my super combos, this one's kind of like player preference. It's basically 3 Nappa's Demolition Man and 1 Ratted Sane Youth. You could play 4 Nappas if you'd like. You can play or 2-2 split. Sometimes you want to filter out some cards in your hand, some of your Unisons. If you're trying to go for game and you don't need those cards in your hand, just put a card under the deck, draw 2, or you don't have to put a card under at all. You can just give this rat, it's a 10k. But you really, most of the time, you're going to put a card under there and draw 2. And then the Nappa, powerful super combo for red decks like this that really is very, very defensive. He just gets a free play when he comes out. So not only is he a super combo, but he's also a blocker as well. And so let's move on to the next cards. So right here, I actually play 3 SSB Kaioken Goku Concentrated Destruction. This card is actually amazing, and I'm actually surprised that like a lot of red decks aren't playing this or maining it. He has Deflect, 3-drop. It kind of does sound hefty, but his effects are just ridiculous to my opinion. So basically, when you play this card from your hand, you're going to KO all of your opponent's battle cards with 20k or less. And if you notice in this meta, A lot of small cards are coming out, but they're getting spammed really quickly. Like, for example, if you go up against Vajax, you will blow up their board. You know, you go up against the mirror match with Bulma, you blow up their board. You go up against like Reboot Hit with all the skillless cards, you're just able to blow up the board. Or even Janemba, like this is gonna really help you blow up the field. And if there is a card that you really can't get rid of, he has an active main that if your leader card's red, you're going to pay 2 red energy, discard this card, and just minus 25k a battle card on your opponent's side of the field, ignoring barriers. So it gets rid of anything that's bigger than 20k. So if there's something exactly 25k and you want to get rid of it, this is the go-to right here. So I really like this card a lot. So we also play 3 Fearless Pans. This card is just amazing in any red deck, especially for Bulma, because Bulma goes the long run. There's many versions that play like the Gogeta package or the Burn package. My version is kind of like, it goes long, but at the same time, it's a bit controlling. I start bringing out some big cards coming out and start doing a lot of damage. So with Fearless Pan, you have a blocker who's going to give all other red cards 5k and double strike, including the leader. So it just really makes like your turn, 4, 5, 6 plays, just really a lot of pressure, immense pressure, and just start giving double strikes and pushing for game. So everyone is basically just double striking. And I also play 4 Topo Righteous Aid. I know a lot of people are either playing 3 to 2, but I still play 4. This card is still amazing, especially when you go up against aggressive decks and you just need something. You just pitch a card that's really useless to you at the moment and just start making some moves. He's a counter attack. You just discard, play him from your hand for just 2 energy on the opponent's turn. And then for the rest of the turn, if they want to attack, they'll have to discard 2 cards from their hand, each time they do it. And it's crazy because, they're usually going to want to not make any more attacks because you have blockers on board. So, why would they continue to do that? They're going to -2 and then you're going to play a blocker on them, and negate the attack. So it's really a neg. Right here, I'm actually going to put these cards all together before anything. So for the Unisons, I play 4 Jern Legend of Universe 11. This card is amazing. This card is going to control the whole game. Whatever your opponent basically, sorry for the glare by the way, but let me see if I get rid of it right there. So when your opponent plays a battle card on either player's turn or Unison, you can choose that card and it gets -10k for the turn, and then you negate this skill. But this card is amazing because he has a -3 that you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets -25k for the turn. So this card is just like an SS Blue Goku just on crack, and it's not hard to plus with this leader to gain, not the leader, with the Unison to gain markers. He's a 3-drop 20k, and the opponent's gonna have to invest a lot of cards to try to get rid of him, and then he has a +1 where he gains double strike. So this card is really, 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 one of the cards that's going to control the whole game. And I played 2 Vegito and Unison. To be honest, I only have 2. If I had a third one, I would probably play it to test it out. But this card is amazing. He is 4 red energy, so he's kind of expensive. But what he does is it makes up for it. So basically, he has an active main. For +1, you're going to draw a card, choose 1 mono red battle card when it costs 2 or less in your hand and play it. So you can play your Kabas, you can play your Mais, you can play your Nappa, which you really wouldn't want to, or you can play your Raditz. So those are your 4 targets that you can, 3 targets that you can play. But you're not really going to do that part a lot. What you're really going to do is the active main, the -2. So basically, until the end of the opponent's next turn, if your opponent would play a battle card using a skill, it's placed in the drop area instead. So like, let's say you're going to attack and they're trying to play like a counterplay battle card, won't work. It'll go straight to the drop area. Or if they try to negate, or counterplay cards, go straight to the drop area. Swap, go straight to the drop area. Like, Vajax abilities, they all go straight to the drop area. It just really, really, really does a lot. And really stops the opponent's turn, basically, to be honest. And you're going to play 3 Yamchas. This card's just mediocre. It's okay. It's not the best counter. I think out of the whole counters, out of the 4 counters that came out from his set, he's probably the weakest. And you really have to know when to play him because he's a counterplay. And on counter window 1, basically, so he chooses up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in minus 15k, and he's for free if you have a unison with 2 or more markers on it. The thing about it is, you have to know when to play him. So in counter window 1, when your opponent is going to play a battle card from the hand without using any skills, or just playing a battle card from their hand, for his counter play, he can't choose the card that's getting played. You have to do this on counter window 2 when they're playing a battle card through skills for you to hit the cards that are coming out, or basically after it resolves. So like, let's say the opponent does a Booney. Well, Booney has has deflect, so he's unaffected. So you ignore that, but when he activates the tokens, to bring out the 3 tokens, on counter window 2, when the tokens come out, this is when you want to play Yamcha, for example, on counter window 2. So my best advice is to please play Yamcha on counter window 2. Unless you're really trying to get something that's already on board, then go for it. But just be very wise, be cautious, and be careful when you activate this Yamcha. And what we play here as well is 3 Bardock, Strategic Mind. This card is really amazing. This is what's going to keep your Unisons on board for a very long time, and it's going to really stress out the opponent. So he's a 3-drop, 20k deflect, basically blocker as well. And when you play this card, you're able to put to give one of your Unison cards 3 markers on it. So think about it like this. So let's say turn 4, you do the Vegeta. You do the -2. The opponent doesn't play any battle cards, for the whole, until, the start of your next turn, right? Then they're thinking, okay, Vegeta's down to only 2 markers. If he does 2 markers again, then we're going to get rid of him. But no, you're going to play Bardock. So you charge your 5th energy, play 3, play Bardock. Put 3 counters on them, do it again. So you went from 2 to 5, -2 to 3, and then you're able to do it again for another turn. So this is really, really strong. And also for the Jiren as well, for the -3 effect. So on the opponent's turn, by the way, on the opponent's turn, you can do the active battle, the -3 on the opponent's turn, either player's turn. So resuming back, so this card is really, really good to keep your Unisons alive. Like I said, the opponent is going to have to invest a lot of combo power to get rid of these Unisons, especially the Jiren one, because the Jiren's going to minus anything that comes out, and he's going to, he's going to also minus 25k if the card's trying to do too much. So this is really good. So moving on, so this is where we start playing a lot more, heavy cost cards. You're going to play 3 Piccolo, 5 seconds to Eradication. I think I'm actually going to bump this up to 4. So this is kind of like your bread and butter of the deck. Like, this is one of your main win cons. This card right here came from Draft Box 6. He has Deflect, Barrier, Double Strike. And, your leader's red, your opponent can't activate blocker skills when this card attacks. So number 1, he gets through blocker. He ignores that. When he attacks, you add a marker to your Unison. That's amazing. And then his auto, which is really, really powerful. Basically, when the opponent negates his attack, you can add one. You're gonna add 1 card from your life to your hand and burn damage your opponent. So if they have 1 life, they can't negate. If they even have 3 life and they swing, they negate, and now they're in double strike range. And then now your Fearless Pans, your Saiyan Kabbas, all that is just gonna run rampant, run wild on this card. So this is really strong. He's unaffected by counterplay cards. He can't be, he can't be countered or anything. So this is a really great card. Next, this is something that I've been testing out, and I really had fun with this. I was able to play this against some of my friends, and it's pretty promising. It's not the first option you're gonna make if you have 5 energy or even more, but this is also another board removal. So basically, this is Son Goku off to defeat King Piccolo. It's crazy. Look, they're right next to each other. It's insulting to King Piccolo, but he has deflect, so he's unaffected by counterplay cards, and he has triple attack, so he can attack 3 times. And he has a permanent that if the leader's red, your opponent can't activate blockers when he attacks. So that's the same thing as King Piccolo. So these guys right here just ignores blockers. They don't give a damn. And he has an auto that the leader's red. When you play this card, you're gonna minus 20k your opponent's whole board, all their battle cards, and then you'll put a marker on one of your Unison cards. So as you see right here, what you're doing, you're slowing them down, you're stopping them, you have your blockers on the board to slow them down, you have your topos in the gate. They have this big board and this big body on board, and they think they're gonna just do well. You slap this card and just board wipe. So it's very similar to SSB Kaioken Goku. So think of it as if you're playing like 6 copies of them, but this one's more expensive and can attack multiple times and has 10k power more. So this is really great for board removal. I'm really a fan of this card. Just play, 2 hidden power, E Supreme Kai. You could bump it up to 3-4, just double strike whenever. But you also have Fearless Pan, who does that job. You have, King Piccolo. You actually have so many cards in his deck that automatically have double strike. You have your Kabas, you have your Jarens, you have your Piccolos, and you have Pan, who gives the whole deck double strike. But, element of surprise, you want to drop the Kai on them. And for the secret rare, I play Frieza Army Reborn. To believe it or not, man, it is not hard to get the 2 life. You can choose when you want to take life. Your Kaba's there to take life. It's really, really easy, and it's a card that I think a lot of players know, that everyone knows that majority of Bulma decks play red, this red card for the red secret. And it has quadruple strike. When your life is at 2 or less, you basically make it a 5-drop, and then when you play this card, you look at your opponent's hand, you can discard any card from their hand, and then blow up their whole board, ignoring barrier. They kill everything that has 40k or less. So basically, it can either kill itself, like the mirror match, or I don't think it can get rid of most secret rares. I don't even think it can get rid of a secret rare, but this thing is going to just blow up the whole board, and then you swing for game, you calculate your numbers, how much can I do, and it's really great. For the extra cards, I really don't play too many, to be honest. I play 4 Wolfgang Fists just because it's free with the Unisons on board, minusing the 15k, ignoring barrier of the attacking card, whether it's a battle card or leader card, and it's just free. And then I just play 2 Frieza Death Ball. So if my leader's red, just minus, you give the leader 15k power, and then you minus, well, leader or a battle card, 15k power for the duration of turn, and then you minus 10 on a battle card or a leader card. So when you push it in for game, you can just start minusing your opponent's leader, and then they have to just super combo up to just go back to regular. As you see, I don't play after image technique. I don't know, when I just tested out this deck and played with this deck, I never really felt like I needed it. I already have cards that can minus the board. These cards are going to minus cards. I have Jiren, who's going to control that, so I have Yamcha, who's going to minus 15 cards. So it's really easy. I don't ever have an issue trying to self-awaken or trying to wake up. So I hope you guys like this deck profile. It's pretty fun. I'll probably record some videos with this soon again. But I just bring it out once in a while to play. If this is something that you want to bring in tournament, at a locals and have fun with, this is definitely a deck you want to have. All right, guys, stay blessed.